Welcome back, you guys, to another episode here on Chef Chronicles. Now today I'm excited to be showing you guys how to make sour cream right in the comfort of your own home. Now please note that sour cream that is purchased in the stores is made from milk and it has a thickening agents added to it. So when you are making homemade sour cream, it may be a little bit more thinner than what you probably will buy into the supermarkets. Now sour cream is a thickening cultured cream with a tangy, rich flavor made by fermenting pasteurized light cream with acid. Sour cream can be used in so many ways, from baking and cooking, and it could use as toppings for tacos and chilies. It could be used to bring out the moisture and richness in bacon. Some people may use it as dips, some people will use it into dressings, but it also could be used in sauces, so it's very versatile. When it comes to making sour cream at home, there's a few ways that you can make sour cream. And the first way is cultured sour cream. This is ones that we usually find in the store, and it definitely goes through a whole process, such as, pasteurization, standardization, fermenting, chilling. These are just some basic steps that it definitely go to before it's sent into the stores for us to purchase. Then we have acidified sour cream, a version that is created through direct addition of acid instead of bacteria. This is a version that is quick and simple that can be made at home with the preparation of activation and setting 24 hours. You have some homemade sour cream. Then there is a traditional sour cream version, also known as Sementa. In the Europe, this is a version that is used fresh milk, pasteurized cream at room temperature as well. So as you can see, the processes sound like the same. You have sour cream within 24 hours, but you have to chill it after you have it in the fridge. Now, the history behind sour cream is endless. It starts from Asia, from an alcoholic version going down to Russia, where they start making a non-alcoholic version, and then eventually it reaches to us here in America in the 1920s, and now we have sour cream. Right? Sour cream texture is definitely going to be totally different when you frozen. It could definitely be frozen for 6 months, but keep in mind that once you thaw it out in the fridge overnight, it will definitely have a separation and a grainy texture. And if you're going to use that, you can use it for, I would say, more bacon. All right, like I'm trying to think of some other things you could do with that, or you could do it in like sauces and stuff like that. It's not good for toppings, just keep that in mind. Now sour cream can curdle if it boils, so it's best to add sour cream at the very end of the cooking process. It's very different from creme fraiche, which you can add it into the heat. So like I said, there are various ways that you can do some homemade sour cream, and due to the fact that I am short on heavy cream, I am going to be just doing two versions right now with what I already did. So the very first version that I did was with the DUI buttermilk that I made. I wanted to test it out to see if it's going to bring in this amazing sour cream feel that I want. I know it's not going to be like cultured buttermilk that we buy in the supermarket, but I wanted to see if it had a difference. So I went ahead, took a cup of heavy cream and 1/4 cup of milk, and I wanted to test that out to see if it worked. Give it a mix, cover it with some paper towels, and let it to sit over room temperature for 24 hours. And that is going right now. Now, the other variations that you can do is a very fast method, which is just 2 ingredients. Then you can have one, which you probably see all over the internet, which is a 3 ingredient recipe. There's also the cultured method that we're not going to do today. But what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and do the 3 ingredient method, which is just the ratio of 1 cup of heavy cream, which is what I have right here. You can use 2 teaspoons of lemon juice or vinegar, and then we're going to go ahead and add 1/4 cup of milk. So first thing I did was go ahead and add in the cup of heavy cream and the cup of the 2 tablespoons of either vinegar or lemon juice. And I'm going to give this a good mix first, so that way it's fully combined, and then I'm going to add in my heavy cream. So as you can see, with just the lemon juice and the heavy cream, you will definitely stir it, and you'll start to notice that the heavy cream definitely got into this like a little bit more thicker consistency that what we're looking for. Once it's fully mixed, definitely go ahead and pick it up and you'll feel it, and you'll see it start to thicken like I said. Now we're gonna go ahead and 1/4 cup of milk. Once the milk is added, we're going to stir that as well. Once it's fully combined, we could go ahead and store it inside of a glass sterilized jar and cover it with a rubber band using a paper towel, a clean cloth. You could definitely use coffee filters if you have that. So, and I saw somebody shake it, and I'm going to shake it as well too, but you don't have to. That choice is optional. You can just cover it with that lid and yeah, shake it and then cover it with the paper towel and the rubber band. Okay, so now that it's covered with rubber band and paper towel, we are going to let this sit for 24 hours at room temperature to thicken. So I'll see you later on that one. Hey you guys, so it has been 24 hours where we let our sour cream sit on the top of the counter at room temperature to ferment. And then once it went and fermented, I just definitely took off the paper towel or coffee filter, whatever one that you use, and I covered it and put it in the fridge to chill overnight as well. You could definitely just do 6 hours if you want, but so here you have the 3 ingredients, and then we have our DUI buttermilk version of sour cream. So we are going to definitely look at the difference between the both. So I'm going to open my DUI buttermilk, and as you can see, the DUI buttermilk still looks more thinner than it should be. Let me give it a shake to make sure. Make sure it gets all that extra goodness. So either way, if you try to do the DUI version of it, the sour cream is going to be really thin, like almost like buttermilk. So, I wouldn't try that version. Okay, so after we tried our DUI buttermilk, now we're going to go ahead and try our 3 ingredient one that we went ahead and did. So when I look at my 3 ingredient buttermilk, you can definitely see that it definitely is thick. Let me pull it out, show you guys. It's really thick, it's really good. So again, you can go ahead and use that sour cream for whatever purpose that you're going to use it for, but keep in mind that the sour cream that you are going to go ahead and make, it definitely can be a little bit thinner than the store, so keep that in mind. Again, sour cream can last anywhere between 7 to 10 days. Just keep in mind, like I said, it will be a lot thinner because we only used 3 ingredients for this one, and we did a DUI version to see if it actually works. Now, I'm going to go ahead and end it here for you guys and show you guys how to do sour cream the actual story one of these days. So I hope you guys like this episode and see you guys on the next one. Okay, so ignore the fact that I'm comfy and I'm in my PJs right now because I've been working on a couple of projects and that was a little bit behind the scene for me just testing out stuff. But, you know, I wanted to come on and say that, you know, every chef makes a mistake, right? Whether they admit it or not, you know, I'm gonna admit mine, right? So in my video, I was making sour cream today, and as I was making sour cream, I noticed that it was way too runny, and then I could have easily fixed it, right? By just taking a cornstarch slurry and just adding into it, mixing it up well, and then put it back in the fridge, and then, you know, I would have had sour cream, right? But the whole point of me showing you guys how to make something at home is to not have that extra additives that we will find in a supermarket. So I went ahead and scratched it. So you had those two choices, either start over or scratch it. You know, no, fix it or scratch it. So I went ahead and tried 3 methods 2 days ago to remake the sour cream. Now, the ratio is still the same. I definitely did 1 cup of heavy cream, 1/4 cup of milk, and 2 teaspoons of vinegar or lemon juice, right? But the difference was that one of them I warmed it up room temperature. So that was, each of the milk was warmed up to 80 to 86 degrees Fahrenheit to warm it up, right? Like baby bottle temperature when you like take the baby bottle and you touch it on your hand. So as long as it's warm, that's the first one that I did, right? And then that one I left it sit out for room temperature for 24 hours, and then I went ahead and put it in the fridge, and I noticed that it definitely did thicken it up, right? The second one that I did was the same way that I did it in the video, which was pour the milk, the heavy cream, and the teaspoons of vinegar or lemon juice, mix it up well, and I allowed every single one of these temps to sit for 10 minutes covered with like the cheesecloth or paper towel, and then I poured it into the jar and I allowed it to ferment for 24 hours. Now what I noticed that was a 24-hour one on room temperature with cold milk, it definitely did have no ferment. It didn't get thick, it was still loose. So I eventually left it to sit for another 24 hours, but at the very ending of the half of the process of it being ferment, I went ahead and put it in the oven to see if that will help. Now the temperature in my house definitely did affect the fermentation process. So if it's more colder in the winter months, or you're trying to do, you know, fermentation with the sour cream and you're in more of a colder climax, it definitely will affect the temperature. So there's other alternatives to get that way up, right? Now, the other method that I did was the same one as I did before, which was take the milk straight from the fridge, cold, 10 minutes in a bowl, let it sit covered, and then add in the milk. And then I went ahead and put on my oven light and I allowed it to sit for 24 hours completely. I mixed it up well, and then I put them each in the fridge once they are to that temperature, right? Once they're all nice and thick. So simple, right? It's that simple and that easy to fix a problem. Now, at the very ending of this video, I am going to show you guys that process and how I fixed it. So, see ya. Okay, so this one here was the one that was from the fridge, milk from the fridge, room temperature from 80 to 86 degrees Fahrenheit, and this is what it looks like. So I'm gonna open my jar and give it a whisk. Now we're gonna definitely check the consistency. It's still thick, but you know, I'm gonna give it a stir first. And as you can see, it definitely has that thick consistency of it, but it's still runny. It's not fully thick as I thought it would be. So show you guys on a piece of paper. Okay, so this is the room temperature milk, and as you can see, it's still a little bit runny, but like I said before, it's going to be runny no matter what. But that is the room temperature sour cream with no additives. And now we're going to do the one that was 24 hours in the oven. Now, as you can see, this one is beautiful. Thick like sour cream, not as fully runny, but I didn't mix it yet. I just sticked it in there. So I'm gonna give it a mix first. And even when I did give it a mix, it still has that thick consistency that I am looking for. So this is what it looked like before I stirred it, and this is what it looks like after I stirred it. So as you can see, the thickness of it. So I actually do like the oven version of it better. Okay, and this is the one that I had room temperature for 24 hours and then realized I had to do another 24 hours, and then I ended up putting it inside the oven for the rest of the time. And as you can see, I didn't put this one in the fridge, but it started to thicken inside here. But I'm gonna go ahead and stir it and then pour it into the fridge, and we're gonna see. So I just went ahead and mixed it, and look how thick it is just from sitting at room temperature for 24 hours and then half of 24 hours and then into the oven. Now I'm gonna just go put it in the fridge.